Warning, this podcast contains spoilers.
Oh my god! Part 2.
What do you say? What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the As Seen on TV podcast for the originals, Season 3, Episode 14, A Streetcar Named Desire, also known as Vampire Diaries, whatever episode it was, Part 2. I'm your host, Mike, and joining me is Nikki.
No, they were their own entities. The only part 2 of that we were talking is the oh my god, because the crossover was amazing for both episodes.
I was kidding.
No, stop it. You're worse. You're the worst at kidding things.
And Dom is here, too.
I am, and I would really like a green apple Jolly Rancher.
Those are all gone.
The leg stuff's not lagging.
And Kim.
Wait a minute, I got this. You ready? You ready?
I'm ready. I'm good. I'm set. Do it.
The background changes.
Oh! Except, I think some of the green screen up the top is kind of meh.
Yeah, I realize it needs to be.
It's interesting.
It's all the Elijah love, people.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Ooh, and he's not wearing a shirt in that one.
Yup.
Oh, you're right.
Yep.
Wow.
One where he was all like out of the water and all wet, but I didn't put it on there.
Oh.
Horrifying. Simply horrifying.
There was not a single streetcar in this episode.
No.
I mean, I've never seen the play. Apparently it's
Me
a
either.
play.
It's
So,
a play. I was
I
forced
don't
to
know how
read
it
and
would-
watch it in high school. Like I told Nikki
Okay.
about 2 hours
so
ago.
how does it link? Like, is there any kind of story overlap or anything?
No.
Or how, like,
Not
was
at
there,
all.
like,
I don't think so.
anything alluding to it in the slightest sense?
I got a C on that paper.
Oh, okay.
So what he's
So-
saying is he has no idea.
Yeah. Okay.
I know that Marlon Brando starred in it. It's about some crazy woman, crazy bitch who goes to
He
live with her
starred in-
sister.
The book?
No, he starred in the movie adaptation.
What about his sister?
No, he's married to the sister of the main character, who is just this crazy entitled bitch, I think is how it
So
worked.
Aurora.
Really. Oh, you know what? You're right. Incredible.
There you go.
It was one of the 3 occasions that I told an English teacher, who gives a fuck, when asked
So-
about a topic.
So, just reading, I read the first sentence. After the loss of her family home, Belle Rev, 2 creditors, Blanche do it, whatever, travels from the small town of Laurel, Mississippi, to New Orleans to live with their younger married sister and brother-in-law, Stanley Kowalski. Blanche
I knew that.
is in her 30s, and with no money, she has nowhere else to go. So that seems a lot like Stefan's situation.
Yeah, like he
He left his small town of Mystic Falls,
All right, I can see
Virginia, and he's going to New Orleans, to the French Quarter, to be with Klaus, because he has nowhere else to go.
that makes a lot of sense.
that. Okay. So we get some Stefan interjected into this episode. A lot more than Klaus was in the Vampire Diaries crossover
And-
side.
I said
just
last
heads up.
episode that Stefan wasn't gonna be. It didn't sound like a crossover episode to me, but I was so surprised and so happy that it was.
Just a heads up as a warning, we're going to be discussing some Vampire Diary plots. So if you have not caught yourself up on, what is it, season 7 of the Vampire Diaries, episode 14,
Turn away.
go away. Go watch it.
Yeah.
Go watch it and then come back and watch us.
Yeah.
So on to this, which, again, surprisingly how much Stefan we had. Aurora and Aya, up to no good, because they apparently allied with each other at the end of last episode. Yeah.
Didn't go very well for Aurora.
No, can't say
Thank
that
God.
it did.
Fuck that bitch.
I'm going to get giddy in a little while, and you'll understand why. Anyway, they put out Araya's idea, apparently, is to put them into a constructed dream space, also known as representational magic, which we've seen before. Throw Aurora in there with Tristan. Which, hey, Tristan, you get a reprieve from drowning over and over.
Yeah, that's kind of nice.
For him.
Yeah.
Nice for him. And the plan is to lure Elijah and Klaus there, knock them out, which they succeed in doing, and throw them in there with the two of them. Which,
meanwhile, they're looking for their tether.
They're looking for their tether, and meanwhile on the outside, their bodies are being lowered into a pool where the delinking, unsiring spell could be performed by the Strix's coven, Divina included.
Now, I just want to go out there, and your biggest problem coming into this season, Mike, was that the whole future of the time jump in the Vampire Diaries was negated by the fact that the Sire line existed.
Well, you know what? They found a way around that, and I said that, 2-3 episodes ago when they even, brought up the topic of the desiring spell. I was like, all right, whoever said it, at like episode 1 or 2 of this season, they were right. They brought something like that in.
Yep.
They found a way. And kudos to that.
I mean, they only unsired Klaus from his line. So, I mean, there's still Elijah and Rebecca. They still have their lines intact.
Right. But,
With Klaus's line gone, though, that means Marcel can die, or Klaus could die and, Marcel's fine, Stefan's fine, Caroline's fine, Damon's fine.
This opens, but you know what? This
Elena?
opens up. Right.
Elena's fine.
Well, Elena's human. I don't think she would die anymore.
She's human?
Yeah, she took the cure, and then Kai, tethered her to Bonnie, and now she's in a coma.
She took the cure?
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought... No, what?
She took the cure, the one that Bonnie brought out of the prison world.
Yeah, she brought it back from the prison
Didn't
world.
Catherine take the cure and die because of it?
She took the cure, but because the prison world was an exact clone of the world at the time, and the cure exists,
taking the cure.
Because Elena, when she was turned into a vampire, was 17. By now she was, or 18 or whatever. By now she's like 21.
Okay.
Catherine
so
was like 600.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, that's why. Lost my train of thought with this whole cure discussion.
Choo choo.
Thank you.
You're saying that we were saying that everybody part of Klaus's line is safe now,
Right, and okay, my point
Klaus
was
is out in the open.
My point was now if they wanted to, like a season or 2 from now, they can kill off Klaus, and if the Vampire Diaries is still running, they don't lose their main cast.
Well,
all their main characters.
Kind of an advanced spoiler for the originals here. We learn last episode of the Vampire Diaries that in 3 years from now, Klaus has been absent from New Orleans for 3 years.
Yeah, he's MIA.
No one's seen him.
Which has me a little frightened because not saying Klaus is dead per se, but if they're going to do the show without Klaus around, like they already lost Rebecca, and
they what do they call the show?
Elijah?
The original?
The Elijah show.
I mean,
and
the Elijah
hour. Well,
Marcel,
Cole's back.
Davina,
Cole's
Cole.
back.
Yeah.
Cole's back.
But still,
Which, fucking yes, finally.
I still don't think, even with bringing these characters back, that they can actually do something without Klaus. So we know that there's a time jump happening in the Vampire Diaries, and it leads up to 5 years into the future. We know that because we were asking, if the timelines are concurrent, that they match up perfectly. They do. We've figured this out. These 2 episodes, the crossovers, they are exact.
Yep.
So if they're doing a 5-year jump in the Vampire Diaries, and it's going to be soon, it's going to happen in the originals. So we know that Klaus has been missing for 3 years, but what about 5 years?
We don't know. This is the first hint that we've, this is the first hint of an originals character in the time jump.
But what's interesting to me is this piece of information wasn't even alluded to in the originals.
No.
Not at all, because we haven't gotten to that point.
No.
And they
Right.
haven't been showing any time jumps in the
Right, but
originals.
wouldn't that have been a great time jump to show in this episode of the originals? Is Caroline looking for Klaus 5 years in the future? And
Oh, that would have been so awesome.
then you're just like, what? But if you don't follow the Vampire Diaries and you're only watching the originals, you don't know that this is coming.
Yeah, you don't know who Caroline is at that point.
But you don't even know that Klaus is going to be missing for 3 years.
Mm.
Like, you don't have any of this knowledge. You
Nope.
have to be watching both to have this knowledge, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not a vital piece of information because it's in the future. You know, you'll find out eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
I
kind of
just-
cool the way they work that out.
I just don't see them not doing a time jump because they've obviously made it a thing that we know that the timelines and the universes and the shows are connected at exact points. So, I mean, I can't see them forwarding the Vampire Diaries and not doing the same thing to the originals. Because
I could see
the
them doing
characters
it
are
for a
so
little
connected.
bit. I could see them doing it for a little bit, but at some point it has to resync.
Yeah.
Mhm. Just because a lot of their, a lot of people watch both shows. Probably a good portion of their fan base, so keep things not confusing. So we see Lucian again. We've been wondering what happened to him for the past few episodes.
We found out.
We were right. He did run away with Aurora, but we didn't know where he was, and we found out that Aurora had him all desecrated in a freaking locker or whatever, a closet, because they had a disagreement.
Mm-hmm.
She's a psycho bitch.
Mhm.
She's a psycho bitch and I hate her face.
Psycho killer. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
What about the Freya Lucian exchanges? What did you guys think of those?
They're trying to, start hinting at stuff.
I don't know if they're starting to hint at it or it's just like both of them are so like withdrawn. They don't have any like connections to other people like that, and they're being playful but vicious at the same time.
Will be
They're just-
interesting.
I mean, I think Lucian's interested, but Freya's just like, you know what? I really don't give a fuck right now. I need to help my family, and you're the only way I can right now.
Well, Frey is like she's really like in tune to like this prophecy. She's really worried about it because like you see even when Stefan shows up
Mm-hmm.
and she's like, "Friend, good thing we don't have many of those around." Oh,
And then
friend,
he
And
walks.
then-
friend, like, and then he's like, you could kind of depends on your point of view,
And then she's like, or
It's been a
foe.
love and hate relationship for a very long time.
It's like, shit, he can fulfill both sides.
He could.
So yeah,
I was
she's
like,
kind of.
"Ooh, this is like a great like tie-in to the plot," and it's like I started thinking for a second. I was like, could Stefan, like now that he's desired, like could he have something to do with this?
Possible.
I mean, so could Damon. I mean, Damon would do something, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Except for the fact that next Vampire Diaries, Damon desiccates himself.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Well, we're not 100% sure, but it does sound like that's where they're
Starts-
leaning towards.
That-
That's
starts that.
that's what they showed in the preview for next week on the Vampire Diaries.
Oh, I didn't watch the preview.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I usually watch previews or promos.
So anyway, we have a little team up. Marcel, Haley, Freya, Stefan, and Lucian all... I mean, more like Freya and Lucian, and then Haley, Stefan, and Marcel all team up to free Elijah and Klaus from their little thingy that they're trapped in. Haley and Stefan have a lovely conversation locked in the trunk of a car.
I mean, the way Haley was talking, it's like she'd met Stefan once before. Like, they spent a lot of time in the same series for a while, like almost a whole season.
Yeah, but
The
they
Vampire
weren't
Diaries.
they
I know
weren't near each other.
They weren't, but they're not strangers. That like she made it seem like she knows nothing about him. That she glimpsed at him once.
I don't
Well,
remember
mean,
them having any interaction, to be
you
honest.
couldn't-
Me
yeah,
neither.
she
That
spent a lot
was
of time with other
that
people.
was when Stefan was locked in the safe
Was
at
it?
the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, she really wasn't
Oh.
around him that much.
Huh.
You know, so I don't think they had any interaction whatsoever.
Well, she knew of him. I guess that's
Well,
enough.
yeah, she knew of him, but still, you can't call yourself acquaintances when you barely talked. So, I mean, that's
True.
why she considers him a stranger.
But
They
you know,
seem to
the
get along well.
ironic the ironic part is, aren't the two of them dating in real life?
I don't know.
I wouldn't know. I don't pay attention
I'm,
to
I
that.
wasn't
I
paying
remember
attention.
hearing something about that a while ago. I don't know if it's still the case. But if that is still the case, it's really funny that they're having that conversation. You know, it's kind of like a play on themselves, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All I know is that Haley doesn't have an American accent in real life, and it threw me off when I watched a video. I was like,
Mm,
what?
yeah. She used to be on another CW show, The Secret Circle.
Mhm.
And she had an American accent in that show as well. So I remember when I was watching preview of them talking about that way before she was ever on the Vampire Diaries. I was like, whoa, like really threw me off. It's like as bad as um, Andrew Lincoln from The Walking Dead, Rick Grimes. Like
Mhm.
he's got the craziest British accent in the world, and like
Hmm.
you'd never imagine it. It's insane.
Hmm.
It's like watching House and finding out that Hugh Laurie's
To
British.
hear someone who has this, especially any of those super deep accents, and come this was it American? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's like
That's
the
all
way
I
she
got.
said that.
Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Damn
Huh.
my internet.
It's the pictures of Elijah in the background. It's distracting your internet. It's too hot for it to handle.
um. Yeah. I mean, they were getting along so well in the trunk of the car, which sounds really, really weird, but they were having a really nice exchange. Haley showed a picture of Hope, and he's like, "Oh, she's so cute." And then, she found out about Caroline. She obviously knows about Caroline because of Tyler, and they had a really nice exchange. So I I want Stefan to stay around more because they just seem like they'd be really good friends, and he kind of needs that because he's gonna be on the run for a while.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Freya made a patch out of a whole bunch of witchy stuff that will block the magical signal that Reyna receives from the wound,
I mean,
so she can't track him.
for people just coming in to this episode, Stefan has been marked. He's been cursed by
Rana Cruz.
Reyna Cruz, who's a vampire hunter, basically.
She's the huntress. She's some.
We saw her later in the episode when she
We did.
attacked the
Okay,
Strix.
quick, brief rundown. She is a shaman power, like Native American shaman imbued vampire huntress who regenerates. She's for all intents and purposes immortal. She has a sword that has a gem on it. If she stabs a vampire through the heart with the sword, their soul gets sucked into the gem,
Mhm.
and it creates a personalized living hell for said vampire.
Stefan has been marked by the sword, and now the mark acts as a beacon, so she can find him anywhere
And
in the world.
she will hunt relentlessly.
Hmm.
Until the mark is. What was the words?
Until
Quenched.
she kills him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
until she kills him. And then, she goes about her merry business of slaying vampires.
Stefan, Paul Wesley, and Phoebe Tompkins are in fact dating in real life.
There you go.
Okay.
And it says that they've never actually worked together until now. This was the first episode
How
that they got
cute.
as a couple, because I'm remembering now when Klaus met her for the first time, Haley, on the Vampire Diaries. It was a party. There's a whole party scene. It was in the Lockwood house,
Mm-hmm.
and that was when Rebecca had stole Elena's daylight ring and like threw it down the drain, and Stefan was in fact at that party, but I don't think they really had any interactions or any scenes. So if they did have scenes, they were very limited, and they weren't dating at that point. So this is their first group of scenes together in which they were actually a couple, if they did have any at all before.
Well, that explains the connection that I saw when they were together in this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to unact connection.
Mhm.
Very hard to hide that.
Yeah.
So the witches are doing their business. Trying to... Yeah, they're doing their witchy business, delinking Elijah and Klaus. At this point, Stefan and Haley are sneaking in, trying to disrupt things. Stefan apparently removed the patch from his wound, so that Reyna would find him.
I called it.
Yeah. And where is Reyna gonna find? A giant a whole house full of vampires.
She was in her glory.
Into it, she, kills a couple, and then walks into the room and hears Aya and like 8 or 9 other Strix, and it's like, Reyna Cruz, lovely to see you. And they just, pounce on each other.
Mm.
So what? Now, okay, did I
Aya was
miss?
marked.
Was Aya marked?
Yeah, when she walks into the next scene with Elijah and they're talking about it, you can see the mark on her upper part of her arm.
All right. So what did
Shoulder.
they do to Reyna? Did I miss it? Or
What do you mean?
like did
They
I?
just-
They didn't show it. They,
Okay.
She was a slump on the floor. They killed her
All right.
for the time
Again.
being.
Yeah, temporarily.
Effective Huntress kills a few vampires, dies. Kills a few vampires, dies. Anyway,
Whatever works.
whatever works. Yeah. While they're doing their spell, Freya uses Lucian to channel, as a source of power, and breaks into the whole representational magic zone, tells her brothers what represents you two in this place, and I'm going to obliterate it. And
Elijah was the knight piece on the chessboard.
well, that's what they
and-
thought, and Klaus was the king.
Yeah, but did
was
she chanted at the
No,
chess pieces?
she was not those. Right before, Aurora mentioned something like, you two are, even after all this time and all this, like, you're still oblivious, whatever. And then Klaus figured it out. It's the 2 queens on the chessboard.
Represented the women.
The women that they, hurt.
Yeah.
And that was, Aya and Aurora. So then she, destroyed the queens, and it broke the 2 of them out of there.
Okay.
To which, I mean, Haley and Marcel had already started breaking Witch Neck. And like to disrupt the spell, and Elijah and Klaus wake up and they just start eating people.
I don't blame
Yeah.
them.
They were hungry.
But at this point, Davina is the only one still chanting, and everybody's yelling, "Stop!" I'm expecting someone to kill Davina at this point. I was truly expecting that.
I'm so glad they didn't.
I'm a little disappointed
Yeah, I thought
they didn't.
Klaus was gonna.
I mean, she even
steal
took it
her.
out on Marcel too. So I mean,
So glad she didn't. We got Cole back.
Yeah, so she knocks Klaus right back into the pool and finishes the spell, which works on Klaus, and from the look of the reaction on Lucian and Stefan and Marcel, every single one of his sire line felt it.
well, she did say that they feel warmth and like a burning. Some might feel pain and stuff, which you saw in Marcel and Lucian. They were just like they looked like they were on fire for a minute.
Yeah.
Right. And Klaus said he felt them all leave.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he looked weak at the end of the episode, and like Freya did explain that there's a big burst of energy that was sucked from you, like you lost it, and he's like, well, where'd it go? And we find out that
From his blood and Elijah's blood,
Mhm.
Davina mixed it together and used all that energy to fuel her little bring back Mr. Cole spell.
yeah,
Which I just love that whole scene. It's like, you're gonna pour the brother's blood into the dead brother's ashes. I'm gonna chant some stuff in Latin, and suddenly, bam, naked boyfriend.
so now is Cole.
Is that how you get a naked boyfriend?
Apparently,
I need to write that
Um,
spell down.
Yeah.
I know it. I know exactly what question Nikki's asking. Go for it.
Does that make him? Because they used Elijah and Klaus's blood, who are vampires, and the vampiric energy. Does that make Cole come back as a vampire, or is he just
So
his
is
witchy
this
self?
is this Vinette like Cole as he was born as a witch, or is this Cole the original vampire Cole?
Mhm.
I think it's witch Cole.
I am leaning with Dom on that one.
I'm hoping it's witch Cole.
Because no,
But I'm
no.
also thinking that, resurrection spells never go well. There's always a part where they're way more evil when they come back.
Something's gonna go wrong, right? But I was just thinking this is a resurrection spell. It returned Cole to life. Being an original vampire, he's still technically dead.
Right.
So it returned him to life, so it's his witchy self. But Nikki's right. Something's gonna go fucky ducky.
Yeah, there's always there's a consequence into diving into death spells.
Pull up Rumpelstiltskin saying magic comes with a price, dearie.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't get any flicker or anything that, he is corrupted in any way. He just said, he had a lot of faith in Davina and
It's
that,
like I never doubted you for a minute.
exactly. But that could be even, he could be, saying that and, it could be like, thank you for bringing me back. Now I'm going to rip your head off.
Yeah,
Like, we didn't see the scene after that. We didn't see what the conversation went for.
We got 4 seconds in a line.
Hmm.
I think it really depends on whether he's witchy version or vampire version. If he's a vampire version, I remember when he was a vampire, he was kind of a dick.
He was always a dick.
Yeah, that's just his
He was super
default
dick, though.
personality.
Even before he was a vampire, when they did flashbacks of Cole, he was an asshole.
Looking at, I'm on Nathaniel Buzelik's Twitter, and I can't get over how much he actually looks like Elijah. Like
How they found an actor that looks... How they look like they could be related.
I'm gonna put it in
Well, Rebecca looks like Esther.
YouTube chat if it'll let me.
You know,
Yeah, there's a link in YouTube
Pictures
chat
like
if you can.
yeah.
yeah.
Like, look how much he looks like Elijah.
Well, that was... Something tells me this photo shoot was very intentional to make him look like Elijah.
No, it's just a regular photo shoot.
There's
It's
another
from
one.
his-
There's another.
It's from his
there's a
acting
image.
portfolio.
Yeah, there's one in Elijah's or in his portfolio too that looks almost exactly the same.
Well, geez. But you know what, Nikki made a good point. Rebecca and, the actress who originally played Esther, they looked like they could have been related.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So...
They casted very, very well.
They do cast very well for this. So let's see. Oh, and at the end, Aya survived long enough to have Haley kill her.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh my god, hold on.
Elijah
Did you find
couldn't...
it? Did you find the
No,
image I'm talking
look
about?
at this tweet. It's gonna... I feel bad for the people watching because they can't see it on...
A blessing to not only slightly resemble this guy, but also have him raise his voice for the 20... Oh my god.
He even says that he resembles Daniel Gillies.
It's very true, he does.
Wow.
Because that is Daniel Gillies in that photo. You look at that compared to the other photo.
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah.
Alright, so Elijah couldn't bring himself to kill Aya at the end of this. She wanted him to so bad.
It's not that he couldn't bring himself to. He didn't want to.
Yeah. But he had to watch her die anyway.
But she was very surprised by that. He took him. He's like, ugh.
And he looked at Haley like he was disgusted.
He was upset.
Yeah, he was upset.
But she just gave him that look back like, that don't you fucking say a word.
And, this brings me to something that Stefan was saying to Klaus, because they were having conversation back and forth about Caroline and about, love in general, that, Klaus was saying that Stefan should give Caroline her space, that, he should leave her because he's always going to be on the run, that, he has to protect her that way. Stefan turned it around on him and said that, we'll look at Haley. She cares for you. She did this for you. She's done, like, all these things. And Klaus kind of, like, reeled back and was like, shit, yeah, she did. So now I'm seeing, like, Elijah, being really, like, I saw him disgusted in Haley at that point. And now Klaus has a realization that, Haley's the most human and the most devoted to him, even though she doesn't love him per se, that he's going to, probably pursue her now. Because he's not interested in Cammy anymore.
As far as we know.
I don't know if he's going to pursue. I mean, that conversation was a lot of... I mean, obviously, I think it was him telling, Stefan's obviously going to pick Damon always, pretty much. So, if you're going to continue to pick your brother over everyone else, she's not safe.
Well, yeah, but it's Klaus is like, you're doing all this for this woman you love, like, so, you gotta protect her. And when Stefan goes and says the same thing about Haley, it makes Klaus think, but I think it's more of not necessarily that he's going to be with Haley, because we still have the Elijah and Haley stuff to go through.
I mean, I just see it
But it's more of he needs to accept that she's willing to Like she's somebody worthy of protecting and not somebody you should dismiss.
That she'll put her life on the line for him, even though she doesn't care for him in like a relationship, intimate way,
Right.
and that maybe this is why he leaves, because he needs to protect her, he needs to protect Hope, he needs to protect his brother, he needs to protect his sister. So he
His love of his
leaves.
family.
He's no
So he
longer
leaves.
connected to this line of vampires. He's super vulnerable. I
Right.
mean, the white oak bullets are still out there.
Actually, Elijah wound up with the gun.
Yeah, Elijah
He
has the gun.
did, but it doesn't mean he's going to use them. He might just hide them.
Or he
He
might
might not
destroy
destroy them.
Doesn't mean all the bullets are
It-
in the gun either.
That was another
Exactly.
point I was going to
Yeah.
say. That doesn't mean that all the bullets were, found.
Hmm.
But here's the part I'm going to get giddy about. Tristan D. Martel is still locked in a container at the bottom of the ocean, drowning over and over. And Aurora is magically sealed in a little alcove and bricked the fuck in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for the foreseeable future, I don't have to look at her fucking face anymore.
I thought it was a fitting end.
Yeah?
The redheaded, crazy, stupid bitch.
Just bricking her in like, I bricked your painting into the wall at one point, and I realized that was a fantastic idea.
It was a perfect scene. Perfect. I hate that chick. I hate her.
So that shit is in the wall. Lucian's the only one left walking around.
That's probably because him and Freya are going to have a connection of some sort. And like I don't know, now that he's unlinked from Klaus, I don't know how devoted he's going to be.
He didn't seem. I don't know. He was always like a weird. Like he was always on the like. He walked a fine line between whether he was against them or with them. I think he was. I think in the end, I think he's always about himself.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever's going to benefit him is what he's going to do.
And keeping Klaus safe benefited him.
And now it doesn't. So.
It's like, hey, sorry, mate, you were always good to me, but you're on your own. I don't know, something like that.
But yeah, it doesn't mean he's gonna go. It could mean he'll stay, and like you said, there might be something going on there between him and Freya. So
I think Freya deserves some sort of relationship like that.
She deserves something.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she's been through a lot of shit. Be nice to see that she actually had some substantial, nice stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, awake for 1 year a century for the last 10 centuries, and now she finally has, her family, and everything's all nice, and Dolly is not hunting her, and now it's like, oh, look, your family's gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah, she needs a silver lining, a rainbow, or something.
And stuff with her brother and everything, so.
Yep. Alright, so next episode, which is going to be the last episode we get before a substantial break, is called An Old Friend Calls. So when Klaus learns that Cortez, an old vampire with a vendetta against him, oh geez, that's going to be a really long fucking list, but Cortez, anyway, has arrived in New Orleans, he finds himself forced to deal with this new threat. Meanwhile, when Cortez begins threatening the lives of innocent residents, Vincent has no choice but to help the vengeful vampire in his plan to take down Klaus.
What? Vincent, come on.
Why not just...
now.
There's got to be some other X factor there, because if
Obviously.
a vampire is killing innocent people, kill the vampire. Vincent has no... Oh yeah, I already read that. Elsewhere, Marcel turns to Davina for her help after several Strix members turn up missing. And Elijah confronts Haley after learning that she's been dealing with Jackson's death in a destructive way.
So Elijah's like, you killed Aya, so your grieving is wrong.
Well, it's not the. She's done it a few times, where she's gotten a little rampagey.
Well, she's a hybrid. She has the wolf gene. She's going to be a little bit ragey.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Marcel turning to Davina because Strix members are turning up missing. I have a feeling that Cole has to do something with that. And Vincent's being a little bitch because, he's like the most powerful witch in the quarter. I mean, that, should be there. Davina, I'm excluding her. And he's just, everybody's using him. All the vampires happen to get an upper hand, and he has to do something for them. I don't get it.
I don't get it either, because I'm all like, you're supposed to be this super powerful, witch, but every time you turn around, it seems like you're just a little bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, and for this show, with the Vampire Diaries, with the flash forwards, everybody's kind of expecting that this is going to be the last season of the Vampire Diaries. There's been a lot of like terrible rumors and stuff of Nina leaving the show is left the show in like this great detrimental state, and then there's the rumors that Ian is like being a diva backstage, which I don't believe are true at all. But the ratings have significantly dropped on the show. And then just recently at San Diego Comic-Con, Julie Plec was asked whether or not the show was going to be renewed for another season with new episodes. And she said they're keeping their fingers crossed. They would still love to do it, whatever. So she sounds optimistic. She didn't sound like it's not. So I feel like this is definitely not the last season of Vampire Diaries, but next season very well maybe.
Yeah.
But with the originals, it was also asked if the Vampire Diaries being renewed or canceled had any dependency on it. And she said no. More than likely, originals will be renewed for season 4. And you can even expect characters from Vampire Diaries to cross over. So it looks like the crossovers are not done.
I wouldn't expect them to be ever done. Like I see them so linked that they're almost the same show.
Right.
So even if the Vampire Diaries gets canceled, you could probably still expect to see some of those characters on the originals.
Definitely.
I like that.
I like it too.
I mean, it's kind of the same concept of like Buffy and Angel. We had a bunch of characters from Buffy went to Angel.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Buffy went to Angel all the time, and Angel went back to Buffy, and like there was crossovers in the same way.
And then when Buffy ended, like I said, a bunch of the characters from Buffy went to Angel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so that's our show.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Maybe.
No Cammy. I'm happy.
Yeah, no Cammy. Because she's an idiot.
And
Cammy didn't make a cameo?
Cammy did not make a cameo. No Cammy and no more Aurora.
Well, not no more
Nikki?
Cammy. We just know she fucked up, so we're not
I
going
know.
to see her alive. She's an idiot.
Nikki, where find you? Can they?
They can find me at Lady Venom 24, LADYVENOM 24 on Twitter.
Dom, how about you?
How about me what?
They find you where, Ken? Where can they find you, Dom?
Don't even find me. I don't want to be found.
That's twice tonight you've said that.
It's being a diva.
Being a diva backstage.
Fine, Kim, where can they find you?
Find me on the Twitters at HUFFITY, PUFFITY.
You can find me on Twitter at Thilladran, THILLADRAN. You can find all of us, Diva Bitch down there included. That face. You can find all of us.
I love how he stopped in the middle of his divaness to do the little dance.
On Facebook, Twitter, Gmail, Google+, MySpace, and YouTube at ASOTV Podcast. You can follow us there for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh my god!
You can find me at Phenomenon, PHENOMENDOM.
On Twitter.